Hello and welcome to today's episode of Daily Reflections. Pastor Sean coming to you from a front porch here in Sonoraville. It's a hot day. I hope if you're outside you are staying hydrated. A little serious topic today. I had a friend of mine killed in a car accident yesterday. He's the same age as me. He and I played basketball together from the age of about 11 years old all the way up, and played baseball, softball with him later in life, and just knew him from the time he was, like I said, from the time he was a year behind me in school, but the same age as me. His name was Steve Ellis, and he was killed in a car accident yesterday on 225. His mother was driving, lost control of the vehicle, sounds like, and they weren't wearing their seatbelts and died on impact. Just a tragedy. Steve was a great guy. Always a lot of fun in high school, and just a lot of fun to be around. Like I said, we played basketball together. I knew his dad up until the time he passed away, and it kind of brought me to a reality today. It brought me to a reality that we need to remember that this life is short. The Bible says this life is but a vapor. It appears for a few little season, and then it vanishes away. It's just here for a little while, then it goes away. And in the grand spectrum of eternity, our lives are very short. Now, we've all lost people. We all have. We've lost family and friends. We've buried a daughter. We've had all of my grandparents are now gone on. And so it's tough whenever you bury someone. It's even tougher when it's somebody that you've known your entire life. It's even more when it's someone that you truly, truly love. And it takes me back to something I said several years ago, probably 20 years ago. I said, no one should walk away from somebody that they truly love without telling them they love them. You should always tell people that you love them. You should always share that hug, that kiss on the cheek, whatever it is. You should always share that moment of love. And you should tell people that you love them, because you never know when it's going to be the last time. You really, honestly, truly never know when it's going to be the last time that you can tell that person that you love them. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, we called her Granny. I sat down with her about a week before she passed away and had probably the best conversation I'd had with her in quite some time. All of our conversations were amazing. She was this little country grandmother who had red curly hair, and was always happy to see me. She loved to hear me teach, loved to hear me preach, loved to just see me come over. I spent about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, living with her and my grandfather before he passed away. And I joke about it, but there was always hot biscuits on the stove. There was always Colby Longhorn cheese in the refrigerator, because those were things that I liked. And she cooked a whole lot of cube steak, because I love cube steak. So she took really great care of me. And I remember when I was in college, I would get up and I'd go take a shower, throw my clothes and my towel in the hamper. And when I came home that afternoon, those clothes had been washed, folded, and put back in the hamper. The towel was washed, dried, and put back in the rack. And I used the same towel for a year and a half, because I never got to the second or third towel, because she would always wash it and dry it and bring it back and put it back. And it was just that warmth and that love that she had for me. And I remember talking with her, and Stephanie and I were there, and we said, Granny, Zach's going to be graduating in the spring, and we want you to be there and be part of that. And she said, I'm not going to make that one. And I said, really? She said, no, I won't be here for that one. I'll be gone. And I, with a choked up voice, I said, now listen, you know that I love you. And she said, oh, you don't have to tell me. I know you love me. But I told her again and again and again. That day I probably told her I loved her more times than I had in all the time that we had been together. And so make sure that people know. I've got friends who I only see once or twice a year, maybe 3-4 times a year. Some I only see once or twice a year. When I see them, I grab them, I hug them, tell them that I love them. make sure they know, because I don't know what's going to happen between this time and next time. I have some friends of mine who are much younger than me. A dear friend of mine, Abby Hendricks, her and her husband Kane pastor over in Loganville. And all of their children are precious to me. And before we leave camp, I always hug them, tell them that I love them, because they're special to me. They are. I see my friend Gary Stewart, he pastors over in Canton. I'll grab him and hug him, tell him I love him before he leaves camp every year. Why? Because I don't know. I just don't know. There were guys who were at camp with us years ago who aren't there anymore. They're not on this earth anymore. They've met their Maker. They've gone on to be with the Lord. Young guys who have passed away suddenly. And so when I thought about Steve today, and I thought about when was the last time I told somebody outside of my circle of influence, outside of my circle of friends, outside of my staff, outside of my family, when was the last time I told somebody that I loved them? And he came rushing back to me. I had lunch with a dear friend of mine the other day. Him and his family are on vacation this week in Florida. And I grabbed him as I was leaving Cracker Barrel from lunch with him, grabbed him and I hugged him. He's about 2 feet taller than me. I grabbed him and I hugged him and I said, "Man, I love you." And he said, "I love you too, Pastor." And I said, "I'll see you when you get back." And so I always try to make sure that I tell people that I love them. I always try to present a good face, a good smile, a good countenance, because people leave this world in a hurry. Steve was 50 years old. I'm 49. I'll be 50 next month. And I'm looking down that same path. And I'm wondering, my goodness, what if I was in a car, lost control, and all of a sudden I was gone? Would I have told everybody that I love them? You know, Garth Brooks wrote the song. He didn't write it. He sings the song, "If Tomorrow Never Comes." If tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I loved her? If tomorrow never comes. So many times we need to think about that. We need to think about what happens if I'm not here tomorrow. And I go to another country song. Tim McGraw sings a song called "Live Like You Were Dying." I'm probably going to preach it in the next couple of weeks. Live like you were dying. Do everything to its fullest. Live life to the fullest. Enjoy life. Just wrap it up and grab a hold of it. Hang on to it with everything you got and live each day like it's your last, because we're not promised a tomorrow. So do what you need to do today. Call somebody today. Tell them that you love them. Send a text message. Tell somebody that you love them. Let people know how you really feel, because you don't know when they'll be gone. Now, is there a good side to that? Of course there is. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So tell somebody today that you love them before they're in the presence of God. Because once they're gone, it's just whispers in the wind. That's all it is. So say what you mean while you've got somebody in front of you. Tell them the truth. Tell them you love them. Share with them that they are important to you. And I promise you the rewards will be immense. So, if tomorrow never comes, live like you were dying. Today, live like you were dying. That's pretty good. I'm glad I pulled those out just in time for Pick a Song, Any Song. Just know that I love you. Each of you who view this video, those who watch, those who share, I love you. I appreciate you. You mean the world to me. Whether I tell you enough is questionable, because I try to tell everybody on Sundays when I see them that I love them and that I appreciate them. But I do. I love you. I appreciate you. I care for you tremendously, and I want you to live life to the fullest. So join me this weekend at Irwin Hill Church, and I promise you God will bless you so many different ways. You're bound to like one of them. I love you. Praying for you. Hope to see you next time right here on Daily Reflections. God bless you is my prayer.